Hello beta, good evening. Today we are discussing about your chapter continue Albert Einstein at school. Your next paragraph. Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. Not that had been a bad day. Most days were bad now anyway, but because he had to go back to the hateful place for the next morning. Here, that afternoon, Albert was unhappy. When he left school, he was not that the day was bad, but in general, days were getting bad at school and hated the thought of going to school every morning. He only wished his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. His only wish was that his father would take him to Italy along with him, but it was pointless to ask him. He knew that what the answer would be. He would have to stay until he had taken his diploma because he would anyway make him stay here until he completed his diploma. अब देखिए उस दोपहर को एल्बर्ट जब स्कूल से वापस घर आता है तो क्या सोचता है कि उसकी कंडीशन कैसी है। बहुत ज़्यादा मिजरेबल है, अनहैप्पी फील कर रहा है। क्या सोच रहा है कि रोज़ाना ही उसके दिन ऐसे बीतते हैं। फिर वो ये भी सोचता है कि उसके पिता शायद उसे यहाँ से इटली ले जाएं, जहाँ पे मिलान में वो रहते हैं, लेकिन उसके पास ऐसा कोई पॉइंट नहीं है जिस कारण से उसके पिता वहाँ से ले जाएं। इसलिए वो सोचता है कि उसे तब तक वहीं पे रुकना पड़ेगा जब तक उसका डिप्लोमा कंप्लीट नहीं हो जाता। ओके, your next paragraph. Going back to his lodging means quarter, did not cheer him up. His father had so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. School was surely an unpleasant place for Einstein, but his place of stay in Munich was nothing better because of had been found a small room availability with his father. He had to stay within the poorest neighborhood in Munich. He did not mind the bad food, lack of comfort, even the drip and even the dirt and squall, but he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. His landlady beat her children regularly, and every Saturday her husband came drunk and beat her. However, poverty, bad food, dirt, and lack of comfort hardly bothered him. It was the frequent fights at the place that he hated. Even the landlady's family was a violent one where she used to hit her kids every now and then, while her husband beat her every Saturday after he came back home drunk. अब यहाँ पे एल्बर्ट आइंस्टीन जब वापस अपने क्वार्टर में आता है तो क्या सोचता है कि उसके पिता के पास इतने पैसे नहीं हैं कि वो म्यूनिच में एक अच्छा सा क्वार्टर उसे खरीद के दे दें, प्रोवाइड करवा दें। फिर भी उन्होंने उनके पास जितने पैसे हैं उससे एक स्लम एरिया में एक छोटा सा रूम उसे खरीद के दे दिया है। और वो उस स्लम एरिया में कंफर्ट, बैड फूड है, लैक ऑफ कंफर्ट है, डर्ट है, उन सारी चीज़ों को एल्बर्ट आइंस्टीन एक्सेप्ट करता है, लेकिन स्लम एरिया का जो वायलेंस है वो उसे अच्छा नहीं लगता। इवन एग्जांपल भी लेता है अपनी लैंडलेडी का, जो हर रोज़ अपने बच्चों को मारती पीटती है, और एवरी वीकेंड हर हस्बैंड केम ड्रंक एंड बीट हर। योर नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ, but at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri when he called round in the evening. At least you live among civilized human beings, even if they are all poor students, said Albert. Now, here we are introducing to his friend Yuri, who is also not very fortunate. He reminds Albert that he should be glad about the fact that he has a room of his own to live, even though the neighborhood is not something he likes. And there are not all civilized, Yuri replied. A reply, did you not hear that? One of them was killed last week in a duel. In return, Albert reminds Yuri that even though Yuri lives among poor students, they are civilized and non-violent, and Yuri interrupts to correct him that not all of them have manners, and only last week one was killed in a fight. And what happens to the one who killed him? Nothing, of course, he is even proud of it. The one who killed him did not face any circumstances except never being allowed to play a duel again. He is upset about this because he has not a single scar on his face to bear for the rest of his life. The only regret that boy had was that he won't be able to show off a scar as a symbol of bravery. Oh, exclaimed Albert, and these are the students. Well, you will be a student one day, said Yuri. Yuri then gives Albert some hope by saying that he will be a student too, to which Albert expresses his doubtfulness. I doubt it, said Albert glumly. Glumly means sadly. I don't think I will ever pass the exam for the school diploma. Here, Albert expresses his concern to his cousin Eliza, saying that it is not very likely for him to pass exams. He told his cousin Eliza the same next time she came to Munich. Normally, she lived in Berlin, where her father had a business. And I'm sure you could learn enough to pass the exams, Albert, if you tried, she said. I know lots of boys who are much more stupid than you are who get through. They say you don't have to know anything, you don't have to understand what you are taught. Just be able to repeat it in the exam. Here, Here Albert expresses his concern to his cousin Elijah, saying that it is not very likely for him to pass exams. Elijah, who had come to visit Einstein in Munich, normally lived in Berlin, the place of her family business. Eliza tried to convince Albert to learn just enough to pass the exam by learning and repeating facts, and that she had seen a lot of dull guys to do it. And Albert again exclaimed that learning things by heart is not his best suit. And after that, you don't need to be good at it. Anyone can learn like a parrot. You just don't try. And yet, I always see you with a book under your arm, added Eliza. What is the one you are reading? Eliza presented her counter agreement that anyone can learn like a parrot, but for that, one needs to try, which Albert doesn't. And she then expresses irony by mentioning that he always has a book under his arms. A book on zoology. Zoology means rocks and things. Do you learn that? Albert tells her that it is a book on zoology which is not taught in school. Then why are you studying it? Because I like it. Isn't that a good enough reason? Alice sighed. And you are right, of course, Albert. She said, but it won't help with your diploma. Aliza doesn't understand why he is reading the book if it is not a part of his curriculum. Albert clarifies that he likes studying science and considers it a reason good enough to read. And Aliza understands this but also warns him that it is not going to help him in passing his diploma. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.